What's going on, guys? Dots here, and today I'm bringing you guys a first impressions video for the Spearmaster. You're going to see some highlights from my stream where I talk about my first impressions of the Spearmaster, both the DPS spec and the tank spec, although I will admit I do go a little bit more in depth on talking about the DPS spec because that is the one I do have more experience with. Now, this video is going to assume that you have at least some knowledge about the Spearmaster and how the class works, because I'm just going to be giving my opinion on how the class feels overall. I'm not going to really be explaining how every single ability works. So again, I just want to make that known so that you don't think this video is a full class explanation video. This is just, like I said, me giving my opinion on the Spearmaster and what I think about it so far after putting in quite a bit of time on it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you do, smack a like on it, subscribe for more content, and all that normal good jazz. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about the Spearmaster 2 in the comment section below. But anyway, without further ado, let's get to the video. So overall, the class is really, really fun. Super, super enjoyable. I will say the class does feel a bit reliant on Tighten the Net for PvP. In terms of PvE, a lot of your damage thankfully does come from the heavy bleed, which I do really, really like. But in PvP, Tighten the Net, whoa, is very, very huge. And if it misses, it is a giant wide peepo sad. It is a big oof. I feel like, though, overall, the Spearmaster kit, I would say, does feel very complete. You have two very viable different build paths. You have the Tassel Bleed build with Tassels, Eagle Hunt, turning back at the summit. Gives you a really, really good consistent pressure build. And then you also do have a more bursty build with Spear, Stabilize the Mountains and Sea, and Block Clouds if you do want to run that. Granted, this build, while it's more bursty, is a lot less mobile, but this build is more mobile, less bursty, more consistent. So it's kind of, you know, you get to basically choose your playstyle. I feel like for PvP, though, Dragon Attack and Extraordinary are going to be what you use no matter what. But obviously for PvE, you're going to want to go Break Mountain Range because this gives you an attack damage increase, which is really, really good. But I like that. I like that you have different viable build paths, which is good. The glyphs are all pretty solid as well. For both PvP and PvE, I feel like you get a really good spread of both like utility damage increases on your glyphs, which is really, really nice. I'd say the biggest issue that I've found with Spearmaster so far is it's definitely a bit squishy. You're really reliant on Unshakable for all of your defense. And the problem is that if you do not take action by plan, you only have one CC break. And I believe other classes have multiple CC breaks and multiple CC immunities, and we have to talent for our second one, because if we don't, we only have one. So you have to basically use action by plan in PvP. And don't get me wrong, Unshakables is good by itself. But if you want to like really have good survivability, you'd have to also spend Dragon Attack on Unshakable 2, which then means you don't have it for your damage, which then does lower your damage output. So, you know, it's kind of like, I kind of like the choice, though, of being able to use Dragon Attack to either get more damage with the second Tighten the Net, or a second Unshakable, you know, because 12 seconds of 70% damage reduction definitely is a lot. But you do 100% lose out on a second Tighten the Net, which can be huge. Because, like, for example, if you're fighting, let's say, a bard, and they ice block your first Tighten the Net, you know, you're kind of fucked. But if you need to, and then, you know, that's typically what I like to use Dragon Attack on a second one. But, you know, obviously if I'm taking a lot of damage and Unshakable is not enough to protect me, I'm going to need to use this on Unshakable again. So I kind of do like the dichotomy between having to choose between extra damage and extra defense with this ability, that it gives you the opportunity to choose between those things. But I do feel like at a base compared to certain other classes, I feel like we might be lacking a little bit in the defensive department. And I do think our offense is a bit telegraphed, just because Tighten the Net, like, once people see it, they just like break and then that's it. I feel like because it's very predictable, you got to kind of be a little tricky with it in order to really make sure that you send it through, you know? Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree that there's going to be rock, paper, scissors. There's going to be counters. You obviously can't have everything in a character. I'm just speaking about what I personally feel are the strengths and weaknesses of the class. I'm not saying that the weaknesses necessarily need to be buffed, just simply stating what I think the strengths and weaknesses are. But that's like, I feel like the main things with the class. I like that, like I said, I like that you have two viable builds. Burst and slow, or consistent damage and mobile. Tighten the Net's a really fun skill to use. It's a bit telegraphed, but, you know, if you do miss it, you have a second opportunity with Dragon Attack. Again, class is a little bit squishy with Unshakable being the only defensive cooldown, but again, Dragon Attack can enable you to have a second charge of it, which is pretty nice. I do like how mobile you are with the Tassel build. It is really fun because you have the ability to get 3 dashes off of your Army Breaker, which is really cool. And then all 3 of your Tassel skills then give you movement. So, like, the mobility on the class is really, really, really enjoyable. From the tank side of things, I really like the tank overall. I actually think it's pretty fun. From what I've heard from other people, it's squishier than some of the other tanks. A lot of our damage mitigation, while we do have some good damage mitigation cooldowns, the numbers are pretty high. So this is 20% buff on a 5-second duration, 20-second cooldown. I feel like this is your main mitigation. This is a 2-minute cooldown. Yeah, I guess compared to Berserker. Yeah, because Berserker's the only other one. Fearless, 40%, 15 seconds. That's a huge, huge mitigation, which is good. You also have Indestructible, 25% damage mitigation on 40 seconds. You also have, where the heck is it? I think that's actually it. No, E. You have another 10% plus 35%. Oh, no, 10% is for teams behind me. It's behind me. This is another 35%. 2-minute cooldown. This is also a team cooldown as well. So I feel like the thing with Spearmaster as a tank is I feel like you really need to make sure that you stagger your mitigation cooldowns properly with your healer. I feel like if you do, the mitigation cooldowns by themselves are strong enough that it'd be pretty solid, as long as you have the healer, you know, kind of weaving in there, maybe defensive cooldowns with you as well. I feel like you should be definitely leaning on unrestricted the most because the cooldown is very, very low. I like that we have 2 different taunts. The taunt off of Heavenly Fang is super sick, where it drags enemies in and, like, pulls them in like a chain. I feel like that's such a useful tool to have in dungeons because you could, like, all the enemies will be spread out. You use Heavenly Fang, they all get grouped up, and then they all get taunted at the same time. Very, very, very nice skill. I also do really, really enjoy how the spec kind of plays, where in situations where you feel like you need more aggro, you could focus on using Wrath of the Spear to put you in Land Dragon Seal in order to give you the extra, what's the word? Aggro that you need. But then if you have enough aggro and you want to go into more damage, you can then focus on using Dragon Cleaver to build up the stacks to then spend your change skills on the Great Hatred benefits instead of the unrestricted ones. So you can kind of choose between, do I need more aggro in this situation, or do I need more damage in this situation, which does give you a choice, which I do very much like. But also, you know, the glyphs for this aren't as exciting, I will say. The glyphs for Phalanx are not nearly as exciting as the glyphs for General. You know, they changed the playstyle quite a bit, though, I will say. Definitely will say they're very impactful on the playstyle. But I don't find them nearly as, what's the word? Maybe it's because I'm using this in PvE. That's probably why. Because if I was DPSing in PvE, I would feel very similarly, because, you know, I don't really have that many choices either, because you're always going to use these, or you're always going to use these. So I kind of like, though, how you have, like, you know, a specific general glyphs, specific phalanx glyphs, and then if you want to, you could also, you know, you could also use these, too. But I feel like these ones are just so obviously PvP-oriented, you know, that, like, I don't really think phalanx is going to get much use out of them. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think the class has been really fun. I mean, the cool thing, too, with the tank spec that I like is that there's a lot of very viable talents, too. Like, there isn't one singular set of talents, it's like, oh my god, these are just by far the best, overpowered, broken. Like, there are so many different talents that are viable and worth using that, again, you could kind of change things up and use them as you like, which I think is really, really nice. But yeah, I think overall the class is really, really fun. I think it could use maybe like I said, a little bit more damage mitigation in certain areas. I think just kind of across the board. But for both Phalanx and for General, I feel like it could use a little bit more defense, a little bit. But overall, the kit feels pretty solid. Feels very, very solid, and I'm enjoying it a lot. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. I will say, though, a lot of our damage is definitely very heavily tied to Tighten the Net. So, if this misses, we're kind of oofed. Berserker has 2 CC breaks with 50% damage reduction, I think. Yeah, we have 1 defensive cooldown, and we have 1 CC break, but we can talent for a second one should we decide we want to, which I do. I do like that as well, Lex. I absolutely like that as well, because that's why I like playing Tassel more than I like playing the Spear. You know, and I know some people love the Spear and swear by it, but I like this spec because you can use the Tassel skills to get in and then use Army Breaker and Tiger Leap to get out. You know? Like, I like that we have the ability to use the Tassel skills to get in and mess around. I could use these completely for defensive mobility. I really like that a lot. Because I will say that I felt like when playing with the Spear spec, that, like, I had to use Army Breaker to gap close. And then when I got in there, it was just like, well, I'm in. You know, and if for some reason I don't have Tiger Leap off cooldown, then I'm fucking in. You know, I am in there. So I also feel like the tassel skills, the change skills feel a little bit smoother to use. And I think the reason, and someone said this is a good thing for the class review. Someone talked about this the other day, and I think it makes a lot of sense, that the Spear skills are specifically tied to the status of your opponent. So depending on, like, if there's like a little bit of a desync, or maybe you're not particularly like positioned in the right spot, like you'll think that your skills are going to go up, but they won't, because either like you didn't hit them the right way, or they're not in the correct position for certain skills. And so I feel like that's why the Spear changes can feel a little bit clunkier to use, but the tassels are the same no matter what. And they're not target bound. And so because they're not target bound, you can use them at any time. You know, I got my change skill, boom, I can fire out my Dragon's Oppression, and I can fire out my Oathbreaker. Like, you can fire those out. But with the Spear, because they're tied to specifically the status of your opponent and actually hitting your opponent, it could feel I feel like a bit clunky. And that's also part of the reason I like the tassels. The tassels just feel a little bit smoother to me to play as. Definitely, it's probably just like a personal thing, and I'm sure other people, you know, don't feel the same way, and that they're like, oh no, the Spear's fine. But at least for me, the tassels feel way smoother. Very, very happy to hear. No, they crystalled at the last moment. Oh, the bleed got him, dude. Feels good. Oh, I have made a grave error. Oh my god. I have no idea how the fuck we got out of that, dude. All right, boys, you ready? Oh, they all backed off. No. I I charged up to do the big attack, dude. I charged up for it, man. Yeah, I didn't really find Sithis to be necessary. I thought I had enough tankiness personally with like Harai and Undeath, but yeah, but I mean you can absolutely sub it in. I mean that's a good thing. You know, if you feel like you want something else in the build, absolutely customize it to your own needs. Is that 8k points per week? Is that what that is? Or what's the actual like weekly point cap for? It's 8k that resets weekly? Fuck. Oh, you get different rewards per tier. Okay, I gotcha. You just gotta know what the ability looks like, I guess? Okay. Gotcha. Oh, so I guess as I do more Battle of the Continents, I guess this will tier up. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Battle Cry 1. Okay. For players who receive 2 little combat spirit in a given week to receive rewards, these rewards are rolled over the following week's prize pool. The more rewards player has not previously received, the bigger the price will be for that week, up to a maximum of 4 times the number of rewards. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that doing the PvP dailies in the BG's shit was going to be necessary. Because I literally, like, just did, like, Arena last week. Like, that's all I did. But, okay. Well, I guess I feel like the 8k won't be that hard to get if you actually do the dailies. You know? Because you get, like... Wait, it's super easy. I'm capped already. I don't even focus PvP too much. I do 1 BG a day. What am I missing? Because I feel like this is taking fucking forever. Is it like what I was saying earlier? Like it's just like an initial time investment, and then once you've gotten through it, like it's easy to maintain. So I feel like this is gonna take me fucking forever to get to the 8k. I have to be missing something. So it's just basically just do the PvP dailies. Basically. Yep, okay. Okay. I guess that makes sense, though. Yeah, I mean, they didn't really take all that long. I mean, I did all the dailies and all the weeklies in, like, an hour. You know, like, all we have left is the stuff for the Soul Force, which I'm not going to do because I don't really care about that. And we did all this stuff already. Yeah, it really didn't take that long. Yeah, the problem is I don't think you don't get Battle of the Continents, I don't believe, from doing Arena. Otherwise, I'd be doing it. We're on a kill streak, boys. Ah, fucking bards. Basically, if you hold the flag, you get points when it is like when it runs out of duration. You get like a certain number of points for actually holding it. Dude, we're on a kill streak, boys. We're on a kill streak, dude. Finally gonna take a W, man. It's about time. Yeah, it's really, really fun. It's a good time. Definitely recommend. Nice. Nice.